Stephanie Bain, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone, today's video is going to be an unhauling. Alright, I have this thing that I'm trying to put in motion. I will not be unhauling unread books unless I started reading it and the first 50 to 200 pages or like 50 to 100 pages really just sucked or didn't grasp me. That's probably the nicer way to say it. And then I'll be unhauling those. But at the moment, right now, I'm literally just going to get rid of the books that got a 2 or a 1 rating out of me, which usually just means 2, or books that I don't remember and I have no interest in rereading them. I love rereading, but ain't nobody got time for that right now. And not just that, but I need to keep books that I truly only like. I don't want to just have all books and any books. I want books that I love and that I just make me happy when I look at them. And the stack of books I have over here do not do that for me anymore. So in the next coming months till the end of the year, honestly forever, I'm just always gonna, if I read the book, I rated it a 2, expect that in my next unhauling. I'll put it in a pile. Once I have a good 10, 15 to unhaul, I'll unhaul them. But that's what I'm going to do to keep my shelves clean of books I just don't like. The first one was a really weird book that I read a long time ago. It was really crappy, honestly. It was not what I was expecting. But it's called Vampires Among Us by Rosemary Ellen Gulley. It's just about a woman who goes around and finds people who think they're vampires. This is like it's nonfiction. So yeah, it was just not good. The next 3 are like romancy type books. I used to be part of this book thing where they sent you books, like mass paperback adult books. Not all of them were raunchy. Sometimes they'd have a raunchy one. That's how I got into Greg Giles, actually. But anyway, and I did not like, well, I kept these because I actually read them, and I read a lot of them, but I didn't really like all of them, unless they were like, I have like 5 or 10 left, like 5 or 6 left that are really good, that I truly loved. But anyway, these next 3 I do not care for. The first one is Bloodline by Maggie Shane. From what I can remember, the world had farms or places like that where they like did stuff to humans, so they would have blood for vampires. So it was like whatever. I don't really care about it. The next one is Shadow of the Vampire by Megan Hatfield, and of course this is around Twilight, so there's a lot of vampire books. It's just raunchy and just like no substance. It wasn't that great. And the last one is Forbidden Nights with a Vampire by Carolyn Sparks. And another one where it's just raunchy-ish. And like, I just, they're not bad books. I just will never reread them. And I don't really care. I didn't care a lot about them then. I care even less about them now. Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. I really didn't care for this book when I read it. I actually did not even finish it. I did leave like a good 50, 60 pages. And I didn't want to read anymore. So I stopped. And it's just been sitting there. And I'd rather pass it on to a friend of mine who would read it or just donate it and then, give to my sister because, like, she can put this, like, coffee table type book. And it is Life in Pictures by Marilyn Monroe. I think she's an amazing woman. And it's literally just her life in pictures. A bunch of pictures of her. And it's a really cool book to have, so I figured I'd give it to her because it's just sitting on my shelf. I flipped through it once. And, it looked cute on, like, a coffee table or something. R.L. Stine's The Haunting Hour. I read this for a booktubeathon. It's fun, but it's for children, so I have every intent, like, it's like, whatever. I have no attachments to this. The next is the first book in the Pretty Little Liars series. This has a TV show cover. It's not a bad book, but there's way too many books in the series, and I have never intended to commit to this series, so why am I going to keep the first book? I don't care about it that much, like at all. So I'd rather pass it on to someone else who would read it. The next one is The Vow by Kim and Cricket Carpenter. I did not like this book. I read this for booktubeathon as well. I think I gave it like a 2.53 rating. Although thinking about it, I'd probably just give it a 2. I gave it a high rating just because the story's beautiful, but the writing is atrocious. It's literally just someone recounting events that happened in their life with no, like, story behind it. Like, you know what I mean? It's one thing for someone to tell you something, but you want it to be told in that story format, and that just did not happen. So I'm leaving this out to go. Speak by Lori Halse Anderson. I didn't like this book. I think I gave it a 2 or 3 as well. And it was like a 3 that just wasn't good, though. The story was sad, whatever, but I found her to be kind of annoying. I read this in a very short period of time. And no attachments. It's Buried to You by Sylvia Day. I've come to the conclusion I am not going to continue to read a series I didn't like the first book to begin with, regardless of the fact that it left off on a cliffhanger. I will just Google it and I'll find out what happens to Cross. I don't know. I had a lot of issues with this book. It tried to be something it wasn't. I think had it gone in a different direction, it could have been a lot better. But there was no substance behind the book. It had just a lot of, I'm horny, let's have sex talk. Not talk. Obviously, they didn't talk. But, no. This one, I own 2 copies of this. I don't know why I did this, but I don't intend to do it again. And it is Divergent. I already have the hardcover. I don't need another copy of it. Why do I want to? Sitting on my shelf now. And this one I'm probably going to give to my friend because she hasn't read the series, so it can go to her. And the only reason why, because I also have double copies of The Host, is because my paperback version of The Host has that little extra chapter in the back, so I'm going to keep that one. And The Host is like one of those like love all-time books too, so easier to travel with that. The House at the End of the Street by Lily something person or another. Lily Blake. It's obviously literally the script in book formation, and it was really good. I enjoyed it, but I don't want to keep it. Then I have one of my all-time least favorite books ever, Delirium by Lauren Oliver. You know, and my issue with this book is I hear first off it gets worse as it keeps going. And even though they had a really cool storyline, my problem with this book when I read it, it was really predictable. It was just so many cliches, and it was predictable, and it wasn't even like, oh my god, it's predictable, but I don't care because it's still awesome. No, it was like, seriously, how is it I know everything that's going to happen? It was really annoying. But I honestly do think my friend would like this book. It's fun. It is fun. But I just, you know, I read a lot of young adult, like, dystopian type novels this year, and this was definitely my absolutely least favorite. So, yeah, I think she'll really enjoy this, so put that there. The 7 Rays by Jessica Bedinger. It was a decent book. It wasn't bad. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. But this is just one of those 3s that I didn't care about. It was more towards like the 2.5 than the 3.5. So it was on the bottom of the 3 list, and I just don't care to keep it. As with all of them, I keep saying that. I'm sorry. But anyway, it was just a little weird, but not like good weird. I just don't care weird. I don't even remember that much anymore about it. And I read it this past year. This one is Turning Tables by Heather and Rose McDowell. I read this a very long time ago. I don't remember what happens in this book. I know she gets fired. She becomes a waitress, obviously. You know, turning tables. That kind of gives it away. And I kind of remember it being okay, but it definitely just wasn't the best. So I'm like, why am I going to keep it? I'm not going to reread this. And the last one I have here is Wings by April N. Pike. I read this, I want to say when it first came out. This is probably, yeah. This is the first edition, so I got this in 2009 when it first came out. Many books after my Twilight hangover, just letting you know now. And it wasn't bad, but I don't feel like reading this kind of a young adult series. I really prefer like Mortal Instruments and Hunger Games and Divergent and Night World, you know? And this one just didn't make the cut. So those are the books I will be unhauling. I will be unhauling more as I keep reading more. You know, the whole minimize the crap out of my TBR because I want to reread a lot of books. That's truly the reason why. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.